you want to know how to move to Colombia on a budget, I've already done it, so in this video, let's get right down into the details. What's up everybody, my name is DEMSKI from the Single Dad Nomad, and on this channel we talk about living better worldwide. That includes the income, the inspiration, and the information you need to live your best life. So if you're interested in videos like that, consider subscribing and tap that little notification bell to make sure you get all my videos. No reason to delay, you want to move to Colombia and I know how to do it on a budget, so let's dive into the numbers right now. The first thing that you need to move to any country is the documentation that lets you get in. That would be your visa or your entrance fee. Now, if you're an American, you can enter into Colombia for 3 months without any kind of visa, but then after 3 months, you can renew that for another 3 months. So you can actually get 180 days inside of Colombia for about just $30. Of course, you have to fly there first, and flights from the United States to South America are not going to be cheap, especially compared to flying to Mexico or somewhere else in Central America. You might be able to find cheaper flights if you're flying out of Florida or something like that, but I would still expect to pay about $250 for a one-way flight down to Colombia. Once you get there, you're going to want to connect your phone. Now, you can actually get a SIM card while you're there. It's just going to cost you about $2 to connect with a company like Claro, and then it's going to cost no more than around $13, I would say, to actually pay for an entire month of service. You don't have to do this because there are Wi-Fi spots all over the big cities in Colombia, but if you want to pay for your SIM card, it's going to be no more than about $15 a month to get set up. Of course, once you land in Colombia, you need to be able to make it from the airport to the city center where you are headed. I recommend the Colectivo taxi because they provide the best value and security. Splitting them between 4 people is going to cost about 15,000 Colombian pesos per person, and that is no more than about $4 or $5. Obviously, you're going to be headed to your hotel for the first night, and you can find a ton of hotels and hostels in Colombia that are going to be less than $10 for your first night's stay. Easy. Once you wake up after your first night's stay in Colombia, you're going to want to get to your final destination. Now, thankfully, there are rideshare programs like Uber, Didi, and Beat that work really well down there, and they're much less expensive than in the United States. I think the most I ever paid for about a 45-minute Uber ride in Medellin was around $6. So you could easily get across the city wherever you're going for less than $6. Now, some people might want to actually just purchase their own vehicle while they're there, and you can actually do that in Colombia. You could buy a motorcycle for about $200 to $300, a little cheap one, or you could rent one for about $200 a month. And after that, gas is just a pittance. The good thing about living in Colombia is that you don't actually need a motorcycle or any kind of transport option because many of the big cities are extremely walkable. So it could be free if you want it to be. The metro is even cheaper. It's going to be just a couple thousand pesos to get across the city, so that's maybe $1 or $2 to get anywhere you want to go. If you are really brave, you could try the busing systems. Now, these are pretty difficult in Colombia, but they're much less expensive, about 67 cents for a ride. Even as a Spanish speaker, I could barely figure out their system, so I wouldn't recommend it. At the end of the day, if you're using transport services every single day, it really shouldn't cost you more than $100 a month. You gotta have somewhere to stay while you're living in Colombia, of course, and I have a few options that I can give you some examples of. You could rent a room in one of the major cities for less than $200, and that would be a really nice room in a really nice place. But I actually found a rural house that had a pool that was $221 per month. It was a 2-bedroom house. And I actually found a really cool apartment in a part of Medellin called Lomas de los Bernal. And it was about $350 for this apartment. It had a pool, a sauna, a gym, putt-putt course, basketball, grill out areas, a soccer pitch. It had all kinds of stuff and it was amazing. So you could easily find accommodations in Colombia for about $200 a month if you're going on a budget. Real quick, if you have kids and you're looking at schooling options, I know there are some private options that go down to about $100 a month, and then there are private religious options that go up to about $500 a month. So the option is yours. I would say about $100 a month, maybe $150 for schooling, if you include the books and the fees and all that. Of course, everyone has to eat, and this is one of the things I love about Colombia is their cost of food. Starting off with, it's a great place for food delivery. For example, I could spend $6 and get 18 chicken wings and french fries delivered, or I could spend $10, get a 2-topping large pizza and order french fries and a huge soda, and that's delivered for $10. So it's a great place to order food. You could obviously go to an expensive restaurant and spend all the money you want, but if you go to their local restaurants and get the bandejas, that kind of meal is going to include meat, rice, salad, soup, beans, a plantain or an arepa, and a juice. And that kind of meal is usually enough to fill up both myself and my daughter, again, for less than $2 per meal. We don't eat out all the time, though. I still like to cook. I enjoy fresh food right in the house. I was spending about $300 a month on groceries for my daughter and I, and that's eating like ribs for dinner, fish for dinner, really nice eggs, all that kind of stuff. So we don't skimp out on food. Obviously, if you're a single person, you could spend much less. I bet you could spend less than $200 for one person, $400 for two for 1 month of food. You have to get your clothes washed in Colombia. It's really quite hot there. Obviously, they're on the equator. Medellin is known as the city of eternal spring, but apparently the eternal spring still gets up into the mid-80s, close to 90s, and can be humid in some spots. So you got to get your clothes washed. Unfortunately, the laundry services are not as ubiquitous in Colombia as they are in other places like Mexico, for example. What I was doing was just going to my neighbor and offering them $3 just to wash all my clothes for the week. So for an entire month, I was spending no more than $12 for all my clothes, my daughter's clothes, and all our linens to get washed. When traveling, I usually recommend people get fresh water because you don't want to get stomach bugs and stuff like that. I've had food poisoning about 4 times. It sucks. But when I was in Medellin, I was asking people if the water was okay to drink there. And it was really weird because everyone was like super proud of how good the water was in Medellin. Almost every single person was telling me it's the freshest water in the world. So I was drinking out of the tap in Medellin, and they were right. It was really good. It never got sick. Didn't have any, miscolorations or funny taste or anything like that. So really good water there. So free to get water in Medellin, apparently. Now, in case you do get sick, you want to have some kind of travel insurance. There are 2 companies that I usually recommend. That's Travelex. That's the lower priced option. About $15 a month is as low as I've seen it. And then there is the World Nomads option that goes up to $50 to $100 per month. But they have a little bit better reputation, and they're more known for making sure that they pay everybody. So those are 2 options. I'll link down to them in the description box if you want to check them out. So let's get into the final tally. Your visa entrance fee is going to be about $30. Your flights are going to be about $250. Your SIM and cell phone setup are going to be about $15. The transport from the airport to your city center is going to be about $5. One night in your hotel or hostel is going to be around $10. Transport to your final destination is around $6. Your monthly transport options are going to vary. I would say no more than $100 per month. Your accommodations can be as low as $200 per month. Your schooling for your kids can be less than $150 per month. Your food can be as low as $200 per month. Your laundry is going to be no more than about $12 per month, and your insurance should be around $50 per month. Man, I forgot to add that up, so give me 1 minute. Holy crap. So the final tally for moving to Colombia on a budget is just $888. I really can't believe it's that cheap. I was thinking it would be more expensive at the end. I'm actually looking over the numbers here and thinking, man, what did I miss? Why is it so incredibly inexpensive? But I didn't miss anything. That's everything. And it's just $888 to move to Colombia. Living there is super cheap. So if you want to check out that apartment that I mentioned that has all those amenities, check out this video right here. And if you want to check out 21 cheap countries that you can live in for less than $2,000, check out this video right here. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Click on that notification bell to make sure you get every video of mine. And I will see you next time. Peace.